They gathered around the dinner table, a tableau of dismissive laughter and rolling eyes, as I recounted my latest findings. My obsession transformed into an unquenchable thirst for the truth behind what was dismissed as mere folklore. Cursed territories, hex-infested vermin, the creeping spread of something ancient and sinister. But instead of support, I faced ridicule. "You're losing it, Claire," my brother scoffed. While my parents exchanged glances that told me everything I needed to know. "You're just a disgrace to this family." How easy it was for them to cast aside my passion as insanity. My career as a public health inspector had been a respectable path. But after I exposed pest control failures in our apartment complex, exposing the rats that thrived in the walls like they were the rightful owners, I became the family pariah. I was the black sheep, the source of embarrassment. And now, years later, as I stood outside the familiar home with its peeling paint and cracked windows, I felt the cool air wrapping around me like a shroud, the weight of their disbelief pressing down. Returning so many years later, I was no longer the naive girl eager for validation. I was a woman forged in the fires of obsession and dark revelation, known for my chilling expertise in hex epidemiology, a field that had gone from dismissed to feared. The curse of the vermin I studied had become a reality too terrifying to ignore. What I had unearthed was no longer just folklore. It was a truth that haunted the very foundations of our lives. And now I had come to show them. The door creaked open as I knocked, and I was met with a mixture of surprise and discomfort. My mother's smile was the first to falter, and I could see the tension in my father's jaw as he struggled to mask his surprise. "Claire," my mother exclaimed, a forced cheerfulness wrapping around her words like a winter coat, failing to shield her from the chill of my presence. "I'm home," I said, letting the weight of my voice sink into the air. I stepped inside, feeling the familiar warmth washed away by a lingering unease. I brought something with me, a darkness that had taken years to cultivate, a knowledge that clawed at the back of my mind like vermin scratching at the floorboards. Over dinner, they tried to engage me in the mundane, but I could see the flicker of fear in their eyes. My father attempted a jovial tone. "So, still playing in the dirt, are you?" he mocked lightly, but it was a hollow jest. I could sense the dread beneath their facade, and I leaned into that discomfort. "I've seen the dirt, Dad. It's a lot darker than you think. It breathes and crawls. It can consume everything." Their laughter stilled, the fork clattering on the plate. I watched them, a macabre pleasure unfurling in my chest. They had mocked me for years, and now I was here to unveil the truth. "Claire, you've got to stop this nonsense. It's unhealthy," my mother finally said, a tremor in her voice as the shadows in my mind began to filter into the light of their reality. I leaned forward, my heart pounding. "Do you know what I've faced? The things I've seen, the infestations that fester beneath urban legends? You think it's nonsense?" "I'm here to warn you." I paused, letting the weight of my words linger in the air like a thick fog. "You've all been living in a delusion, and that delusion is about to break." That night, as darkness enveloped the house, I took to my old bedroom. I had brought tools with me, vials of samples I had collected from areas rife with curses, insects that carried the weight of ancient horrors, and a device I had built to amplify their frequencies. I could feel my family below, snickering and shaking their heads, but I owed them nothing. The walls of my room felt alive, pulsating with the memories of my former self. And as I prepared my equipment, I whispered into the shadows, "Let them see." I set up my device, the lights flickering as the sounds of chittering vermin emerged, resonating with a frequency that echoed through the house. It was like a symphony of despair, an invitation to the very essence of the curses I'd studied. When the scream came, it tore through the house like a thunderclap. I rushed downstairs, a primal instinct igniting within me. My family stood frozen in terror, their eyes wide as the shadows in the corners of the room thickened and writhed. From the walls, from the very floorboards, the dark knowledge I had gleaned began to manifest. Maggots, crawling and writhing. Spilling from the cracks, pulsate.